welcome to a quick video on how to set up your Clikk Apply dashboard and create a position. So the first thing you have to do when you log in to your Clikk Apply dashboard is creating a new department. So to do this, we're going to click on Settings and Departments. Then we're going to click on Create Department, enter the name of the department and a description of what it does. Then you can optionally select an overseer. This is maybe not the director of the department, but who the director reports to. And then we're going to click Create. Now we have a department. The next step is to invite members. These could be your directors or anybody else who needs access to the hiring information. To do this, we're going to click on Manage Members, Members, Invite. Then we're going to write the email for every person we want to invite. There are two roles you can select from, admin or member. And you can send out multiple invitations at once. So you can add the emails for all your members, send invitations, and then add the emails for all your admins, and then send the invites. So I'm going to invite a member. And then click Send Invite. So now the invite has been sent. I can click Finish. I can close this window. And when the invite has been accepted, it's going to appear here. So now my member has accepted their invitation. They now appear in the members page, and I can assign them a department. Assigning a department means that that person can view everything happening in that department. They can create positions, run interviews, all that stuff. So now that we have our departments created and our members invited, we need to create a hiring round. So to do this, we're going to click on Hiring Round. If you're coming from the dashboard, then you would click on Settings, Hiring Rounds, and we're going to create a hiring round. Keep in mind that you can only have one hiring round active at a time, and these are used for organization purposes. So any job that is hiring in the same time frame should be in the same hiring round. So you're going to give it a name, a start date, and an end date, and set it as active. Then we can click Create. You can create as many hiring rounds as you want as you go through the process. These 3 steps have to be done by an administrative account. The following steps can be done by an administrative account or a member account assigned to said department. So the next step is we're going to create a position. So we're going to go back to the dashboard, click on Positions, and create a new position. In this window, you can enter the position title, in what department that position can be found, what hiring round it should be in, a short description, the application deadline, so when is the position going to close on the website, and how many positions are available, so the number of vacancies. So let's say I am hiring for 3 people. Then you have a couple of toggles. You can show the number of vacancies publicly, and you can set your position as active or inactive. So if you're just preparing the position but you don't want people to apply yet, leave it as inactive. But if it's ready to be applied to, set it as active. We're going to click Save Changes, and then our position is going to appear on the Positions page. The next step is to create application questions. So to do this, I'm going to click on View Detail for the position that I want to edit. I can go and edit the position details, or I can click on Applications Questions right here. Here, I will create all the questions applicants have to answer before being able to submit their application. So first things first, I'm going to click Add Question. We have 4 different types of questions you can select. A text question, where they have to answer a text response, a multiple choice, a checkbox or a multi-select, and a file upload. So let's create a text question first. And let's set it as required, so they must answer this question. Once I've put in the question and select the type, I can click Save Questions, and it now appears in my general questions. Let's add a second question. Let's set it as multiple choice, and let's say I want to know what year of study they're in. And then I can add options. Let's say I've added one too many. I can click the red trash can and it deletes it. For this one, I don't need it to be a required question. They don't need to answer it. So I will not click this checkbox, and that means that some applicants may not fill it out. You can repeat this process for as many questions as you need. Adding choices for the checkbox question is the same process as the multiple choice. And for the file upload, you just have to write the question, and there will be a Dropbox created when the position is created. To edit a question, you can click on Edit, and it would you can edit the text, the question type, and then click Save Questions once you're done. The next step is to create interview questions. So I'm going to click on the next toggled, and these are the questions that you can ask during the interview. So again, we have 3 types of questions, 3 different difficulty levels, what the question is, and what answer you expect. So let's say I want to ask an easy technical question, and then I'm going to write the question, and I expect the answer to be this. Then I can click Submit, and my question will appear here. I can click Edit if I want to change something, and the red trash can to delete it, like with application questions. I can repeat this process for as many questions as I want. Let's say I want a hard problem-solving question. Click Submit. Now I have a second question done, and I can repeat for as many questions as needed. The last step for the creation of your position is to create a rubric. So this rubric can be used to score your applicant on their answers. We have the different scoring levels and the evaluation criteria. So you can edit the scoring levels as you want, and then you can create different criterias. So let's say the first one is I want is communication, and I'm looking for clarity and articulation. And then there are poor, fair, good, and excellent. Those are my 4 choices. And then I also have one for problem solving. And then I can add a third one. And I can say I want to evaluate on the quality of the answer. Like this. And then I can also create a custom description for the different levels. Once I think it's pretty good, I can preview the rubric. So I see my 3 criterions and my 4 levels. And if I think that's pretty good, I click the X and I am done. So I'm going to click Save Rubric. So now my position is fully created. If I want to edit anything, I can go back, click View Details, change anything on the front page, click Save Changes, edit the different questions for the application, edit the different questions for the interview, or edit my rubric. Just make sure to click Save if any changes are made. So once my position is created, I want to enter my availability into the system so it can schedule interviews. So to do so, I'm going to click on availability, select the date range I want my interviews to happen in. So my position closes on the 29th, so I'm going to give myself a couple days to review the applications. And then I want my interviews to happen the first week of November. So I'm going to click on that. I want them to start at 9, end at 5. Great. I can enter in my availability by clicking and dragging. The blue space is where I am available. So I want spaces there. Here, I'm available here. I'm available all Friday. And then if by accident I select a space, I can click it a second time and it disappears. Once all of my availability has been entered, I'm going to click on Create Interview Slots. I'm going to select the department I'm in. So my position is under the video tutorial department. So my interview slots are for the video tutorial department. I want my interviews to be 45 minutes long. I want 10 minutes between the interviews, and I will have 2 people interviewing each applicant. So once my slots are created, I can go see them. If I had some that have already passed, it would appear here. If I have any today, they'll appear there. And if I click on upcoming, I can see all of my slots that have been created. And then you can see the available interviewer is admin support, which is the account I'm on right now. And if there's any that I need to delete, I can click delete slot, and it gets deleted. So now your position is created, your availability is in the system. All we have to do is wait for applicants to apply. So I've gone ahead and filled out a couple applications for this test position, just so we can go through the rest of the process. So to see the applicants, you're going to click on View Applicants, and we see 3 applicants. To review them, we're going to go ahead and view details. We have their email, their phone number, the questions they had to answer. I can go back and see what I had put as application questions if I want. And then we're gonna either say that this applicant is ready for an interview or reject them. So this person, they didn't write their name, so I don't want to interview them, so I'm gonna click reject. Now it says rejected next to their name, and if I go back to the list of applicants, it says rejected in the status. I can go through the rest of the candidates and accept or reject them. I can also see the date at which they applied. So let's see this one. I like this application, so I'm going to say they're ready for an interview. We offer 2 ways of sending interview details. The first is online, so you can enter your Teams link or your Zoom link and send that to the person, or you can click in person and write the location. So let's say I'm doing my interviews on Queen's campus. Click next, send the invite, and now their status has been changed to ready for interview. And now I can accept or reject the candidate. So after the interview, I will come back and either accept or reject the candidate. And we just have one more to go through. I like this interview. Let's say ready for interview. Great. So now I've reviewed all my applicants. I have to interview 2. I've rejected 1. A message will be sent to the applicants for them to schedule their interviews based on the availability that you added into the system at the previous step. We just have to wait for our applicants to schedule their interview. So once you receive an email saying somebody has scheduled an interview, you can click on interviews and they will all appear here. So I have one right now. So we're going to click on start, open interview, and then we have the timer for the interview at the bottom. We have the rubric we made where you can score them on, and you have all the questions we entered when creating the position. So I can write notes as they answer the questions. I can also check what I expected them to answer. Check the expected answer. I can also view their application. So this brings me back to their application page if I want to review anything. And then at the end, once I've gone through all the questions, I can give them an overall rating. So I can leave an overall feedback. And once the interview has concluded, I can click on End Interview. This will lock the questions so you are no longer able to edit them. So be sure to make sure that you are done writing your notes before ending the interview. So this is what it looks after ending the interview. It shows you the question, the expected answer, and then the notes that I took. And if there was multiple interviewers, you would see the notes for all the interviewers in the same place. And then it shows you the overall star rating and the rubric score. Once you've gone through all your interviews and you've interviewed everybody you had to interview, you have to decide who you're accepting and who you're rejecting. So if we go back to the interviews page, you'll see all your interviews that have been done and you'll see all the ratings. Once you choose who you want to accept, you can either click on view, open their interview, if you want to review any information, and then go to their application and click accept. Or you can just go directly to positions, view applicants, view the details of the applicant you want to accept, and click accept. So now I've accepted John Doe. He will take on the position, and I have gone through the entire process of creating a position to entering my availability, scheduling interviews, and running the interviews.